Oh, that was terrible. Hi, everybody.
Good evening.
Oh, sorry. I just tried to Control-Alt-Delete on my Mac. Okay.
They call that the three-finger salute.
I'd like to give a three-finger salute to our new guest, Rob Knowles. How about that?
Hey.
How about that for an introduction?
Thank you.
Rob,
Thank you. I'm trying to... No, go ahead. I'm trying trying not to talk over... I'm trying to have that smooth give and take that...
No, we don't want that.
Characterizes your podcasts.
I know.
Smooth give and take. Smooth give and take. Hi, Rohan. My son, Rohan, my 4-year-old, is here. Hi. I'm talking to Uncle Phil and Uncle John.
Hi. Hey, you got to practice that good bow technique.
Yes, you need to go practice.
Or the Ayatollah Khomeini will come.
I'm reading my newspaper.
Okay, go read it, and then...
You're reading a newspaper?
He's going to read the newspaper in the background.
Oh, okay. So he's
we can
like
work
the
with
Wall
that.
Street Journal? So, Rob, hi. So we've talked about Rob Knowles for a little bit on the show, and so first we have to say, who are you?
Well, I was going to introduce myself through awkward exposition. Hey, let's get started, guys. So John, who, as you know, are my brother.
I.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
We sound like...
See,
this is
awkward.
exactly how the Sean one went.
Oh, jeez, you guys.
Except he didn't say it was his brother.
Now you're really hitting below the belt.
No.
No, I'm sorry.
No. Sean sounded like he was... We used to joke about sounding like you're in a glass, but he sounded like he was in a paper cup or... I don't know what he was in.
Some of us don't have the technology yet.
And some of us don't use it right, like I did last time. But no, don't worry about that, because every week something's been a little off. Like John's mic wasn't right, or mine wasn't set.
Oh, I've had a couple of total fails.
And we'll just cut this out because the audience doesn't need to know.
The audience needs to know. They demand answers. You're listening to Episode Rob of Time to Lean, and here's a song with your hosts John and Phil and special guest Rob. And now back to your regularly scheduled programming already in progress.
They probably already do, though.
But Phil will put it in with a beat. Anyway, keep going.
Well, let me introduce myself this way. I'm drinking Crown Royal Rye, which was recommended to me by my brother, John, who hosts this podcast. And I really know nothing about Crown Royal Rye, except that it's pretty cheap, and it's actually surprisingly good. And it's, as John would say, it's this good because it's this cheap.
That should be my motto.
It's good because it's this cheap. And that tells you everything you need to know about the relationship between my brother and I, because my brother and me actually is grammatically correct. Because
we do really worry about that a lot here.
Who are you talking to?
I told you, Rohan, I'm talking to my brother, John, and
we have another
my old
special
friend
guest.
Phil, I'm telling you, Rohan, my 4-year-old son, I'm telling you that Phil and I have been friends for decades, since high school. I don't know if I was on the infamous orchestra choir trip. I think I was, but I didn't participate in the swimming pool antics. I was busy doing other things like hiding in the corner. I don't know.
No, I remember
He didn't swim in the indoor-outdoor pool.
He was in the back of the bus with the blankets.
Oh, yeah.
They had a lot of blankets that mysterious things went on underneath.
That would never be allowed today. I would never allow it.
No, so many things wouldn't be allowed today.
You can't even have everyone on one bus anymore. You each have to be in your own bus.
Well, we all are, each of us, in our own bus.
Not on the bus. So you and Rob have known. So you and John have known each other for
decades.
Yeah, even longer.
Even more decades.
More decades than you and I have known each other, or you and John have known each other. But and the point, I guess, is that the point that I was trying to make about the Crown Royal is that I have acquired about 70% of my taste in music, movies, beverages, not in women, but that's because I got to that. I colonized that territory first. But the other areas...
Everybody's got their specialty, right?
The other areas... Just kidding, haha. The other areas where I just basically inherited an entire taste in which I began to alter, to make my own slowly over time. But I just...
You customized it.
Not many of us have that, so I'm grateful to this day.
That's amazing, right? It's a huge burden of responsibility to be such a cultural influence. Although, if you look at it a certain way, I certainly got a lot of it from
Bruce,
our dad, for example, and of course our older brother Bruce. So many other things that seem to trickle down in a way.
That's right. And I think
it's so funny, yeah, how that stuff, what kind of stuck and what maybe didn't.
Well, one thing I should say, we'll get back and we need to know more about Rob. But first, I just want to say Rob doesn't usually drink this early because his kids aren't teenagers yet.
That's
early.
True. Although I've found myself drinking earlier and earlier each day.
You probably have to go to bed earlier.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, because I'm up at the odd hours. So I have a newborn baby.
Right.
Because I have a newborn baby. See, that's introduction through exposition.
Rob has written screenplays or not screenplays maybe, but plays.
Stage plays.
What was the name? What was the name in college? You wrote scripts for the Children's Theater there in Farmington, right?
Farmington, Minnesota. Yeah, one of the southern suburbs. As you audience know, being made up of significant portion Minnesotans. And in fact, after college, for 5 years, I wrote plays that were performed and produced by the Children's Castle Theater, which is still in existence.
Wow.
Oh, that's great.
Has continued to perform both my plays and plays that were written by children former children that were in my plays. So the legacy is very much alive. In my former plays, in my former life.
How many plays do you think you wrote?
I wrote approximately 10.
Wow. I got to see a couple of them.
I'm sorry.
No.
The thing that I realized that about it is that I did improve from script to script. Each time I improved, but I did not improve as much as I could have because I didn't. They were all first drafts basically. I just wrote it, and I did very little editing, and sometimes I'd make a change here or there during the production, but
sure,
that was it. And I think that's not very professional, but it's
you were a kid.
It's practice. Yeah, I was a kid. I was only 12, so no, I wasn't. No, that's a lie. That's a lie.
You were a former child.
I was formerly a child.
Speaking of Rob's former lives, the other night we were watching an episode of The Wire, and
did Rob write for that?
He should have. No, it might have been a little funnier.
Sorry,
but there's this
laugh,
scene where these gangster guys are driving around in like a rental car or something like that in Baltimore.
That reminds you of Rob?
Well, not that just that. Well, the whole show takes place there, so of course it does. But since he's about to move there,
okay.
The thing that reminded me
what's
that
the connection?
So they're cruising around and making a drug deal or something like that, and they're trying to they're leaving the city and the radio station cuts out or something, and they're trying to find some more hip hop to listen to or whatever.
Oh, jeez.
and they flip the channels, and a Prairie Home Companion comes on the radio. It was so funny. And they're just looking at each other like, "What the hell is this?"
Speaking of,
and the thing that's of course funniest about they just stop talking and it just keeps playing.
and Rob used to work for that. Maybe you don't want to admit that now, though.
Oh.
That's a complicated thing. I mean, it wasn't like working for Bill Cosby, but
I don't think it was with Bill Cosby. I don't think it was his employees who were targeted. I think it was
no.
He kept it professional.
in a way, I guess. He was, he kept it professional.
But it's funny. I did that, and a few months ago, I really made an attempt to watch the Prairie Home Companion movie, which I'd never seen, and I couldn't actually make it through the whole thing. It was pretty awful. So that's kind of my sidetrack there. So,
all right. Do you have any Prairie Home Companion stories, Rob?
We could do a whole episode, probably.
Wait a minute, Rob's a lawyer. Are you? So, do you call yourself a lawyer, a practicing lawyer, or you're a professor of law now, or emeritus adjunct, or what's going on?
Emeritus is what I call myself because I'm basically retired from life. I am a law professor. I don't call myself a lawyer because I'm not currently up to date on. I have been admitted to the bar in New York and Illinois, but I'm not up to date, so I'm not kept up. So I can't practice law, so I don't call myself a lawyer. I'm a law professor.
You just play one at school.
I play one at school. I do use war stories a lot with my students because they're like gold. They love war stories. So I will trot out these, when I was a lawyer for a relatively brief period of time, I encountered enough interesting things to keep things colorful in the classroom.
but
that's what it's about.
Appropriately colorful.
Keeping them distracted, just like your children.
That's correct.
Then this is the season finale.
Season finale, big pressure. I actually had a gift that I was going to deliver to you, an audio gift.
Oh,
and since there was sort of a break in the conversation, I thought I might introduce it now.
Okay.
So let me just explain. This is what I call an accidental email. Because my brother, whose name is John, who hosts this podcast, always hi John, always keeps me sort of, on the relatively cutting edge of things, relatively speaking. If I listen to him, he does. And he said when Google introduced Gmail, he said, you should really get a Gmail account because that's the future. And I was like, well, okay, I will. I'll get a Gmail account. And so the advantage of it is that I was able to obtain a Gmail account that closely resembles my name. I'm not going to say what it is. But the downside to that is that other people who share my name, which is a fairly common name in the Anglosphere, I now receive emails regularly from a Rob Knowles who lives in Washington State, a Rob Knowles who lives in Leeds in the United Kingdom.
I have one from you. This happens to me all the time, Rob.
Oh, it does,
because
okay.
I have a similar thing. I definitely get UK mistaken emails. In fact, one time I even started getting somebody's auto insurance claims and stuff like that, like their accident reports.
Yes, no. I do.
I had to email the insurance company that was sending. It's like, you really don't want to just be sending me these because I'm not the right person.
Oh, they're going to need a lawyer.
I did that a few times at first because I thought that's the right thing to do, but eventually I just gave up because I get them so regularly, and Rob Knowles says if you can't be bothered to share your correct email with these people, then I just can't take on the burden of correcting every single time.
No, I understand. I've been in that position, obviously, and my favorite one though was the family reunion in Texas emails
yes.
that I got about a year or two ago.
You should have went.
If it had not been in Texas, I might have crashed it. It was a little out of the way.
Gone.
But
no, great barbecue.
I tried so hard to tell these other family members that they were sending to the wrong person, and eventually somebody stopped. But the funniest part is that if you switched out the names, it would pretty much have sounded like one of our family reunions. It was the same kind of discussions.
Was it catered by KFC, like our family reunions?
Well, that sounds pretty good right now.
Maybe they had to step up on us.
I haven't had KFC for years.
Yeah, well, good for you.
That's great, and I was right about Google being the future, though.
In more ways than you imagined, probably.
I mean, even a broken clock is right twice a day.
No, you were right about Betamax. You were right about in television.
In television.
Sorry. You were right about Google.
So many things. Once in a while, I pick the right one.
I'm surprised you weren't really stuck on Yahoo with your track record. Yahoo's the best. No, I don't care what you
they're
say.
Great. Yahoo's the best. They're quality. See, the thing was, John
AOL.
His mistake was that he honestly evaluated the quality of the product. And he said this is clearly superior, and therefore it should, in a just world, it should prevail. But that was not sufficient.
But you got to get that out of your head at a young age, because that's just not the way the world works.
From our father too. My dad used to bitch about how he thought Beta was better than VHS too.
Did he really?
Oh yeah, he totally did. He swore, "Oh yeah, I can see the difference," and I don't think VHS looks as good. No, he definitely was sold on that.
I had no idea.
Well, we had some
very deep discussions about these things.
Another thing about Rob, now I don't know, and if you need me to edit this later, just let me know. But a while back, many years ago, this old gumshoe showed up at work. An old FBI guy he looked just straight out of like a noir movie. I think he was really probably close to retirement. But, and he had to ask me some questions about Rob for some clearance he needed or something like that. Rob can talk about that if he wants. But these questions, the guy had no sense of humor, and I wasn't trying to be funny. I was taking it seriously. But some of the questions were kind of funny because it's like, well, what about Rob's drug use and all this stuff? And I'm like, oh, we didn't do anything. We were just like... We were so boring. But maybe you did drugs. I didn't know. But
does D&D count as a drug?
It was, according to some. It was a gateway to Satanism, at least. And Satanism leads you to orgies and drugs and Prairie Home Companion. So anyway,
speaking of drugs, I have to go get my drink.
Wait, you don't?
You haven't started?
You haven't started drinking?
I unfortunately started out the recording with a coffee beverage.
John started dry.
And my day is just really... Rob, are we on a speaker? Can Rohan hear us?
No, he's not. He's no longer in the room. He's been bored.
Okay, I just didn't want to...
This podcast has bored him.
Talk about my fucking drink.
So
go ahead,
I'm guessing Rohan went to read the paper, put his feet up with the slippers on, and smoke a pipe. Well, I need to get another drink.
Yes.
Maybe I shouldn't, though. I'm ahead of you guys. We're not balanced at all here. All right, I'll be back.
And now, an accidental email, read by Rob Knowles.
This is an email from Burl, somewhere in the UK, to a different Rob Knowles. Hi, Rob. I spoke to you earlier this week when we discussed workwear for your staff. You mentioned your staff were wearing royal blue Conti suits and that you were thinking of changing to emerald green. If you would give me a size breakdown and quantities of what you need for your 3 staff members, I will forward you some prices. If you would like me to send branding, embroidery, screen printing prices, please would you be kind enough to forward me your logo, text, or names that you might want on the garments and where the positioning of the branding should be. If you would like me to come through to you sometime, let me know when it will suit you. I have attached our company profile as well and look forward to hearing from you. Kind regards. I forgot the name. I have replaced the name to protect the innocent. But that was an actual email that I received that was intended for a different Rob Knowles. I apologize to the Rob Knowles in the UK. I apologize to the author of this email for not... You know what, I think I'm going to respond and just tell her that she's misdirected her email here, because I feel bad.
Are you talking to yourself, or is John back on?
No, John's not back on yet. I thought I would use the opportunity to read the text of the accidental email that was sent to me.
And you did?
And I did.
Oh, okay, well, I'll listen later. So, Rob, you just had a baby, or you took part in having a baby.
I did take part. I waited for my wife to receive her epidural, and then I took a nap. And then they woke me up.
You sure they didn't
time.
give you the epidural?
Yeah.
Oh, I wish they would have given me one. So, yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, you got a few years. I have a few years on you, but I can't imagine having a baby right now. I don't know.
Well, I tell people that having children is a young person's game. Fatherhood is a young man's game or young lady's game, and it just is easier when you're younger. For the most part, I think there are emotional ways in which that older people are sort of, the experience of life sort of gives you some emotional cushion and that kind of thing, and you take the long view about things, and that helps. But physically, it's much better to be a younger person to be a parent, because the amount of physical labor is surprising. The lifting, the bending,
and it doesn't get you in shape either. It just hurts things. It
just stretches things beyond their limit, and it just causes permanent pain, really.
But it's a lot like
my
our
wife
podcast.
says the same thing, Rob. That
yeah,
she's glad she had her kids earlier, since
right?
My stepson just went to his college orientation today.
That's wild.
So he's almost out the door.
I think in my head that I have a long ways to go, but it goes so fast.
That's what I've heard.
Cats
too.
in the cradle.
But no silver spoon here. So speaking of spoons,
lead spoons. Yeah.
What?
So you guys grew up in a family of about, I don't know what, 13 kids?
25.
20. Yeah, definitely. It varies.
Well, they start dropping off after a while.
Well, actually, Phil, there's an element of truth to that, because I feel like when Rob and I were very young, the number of kids in the house did fluctuate a little bit, depending on my older half-brothers.
Yeah.
Whether they were staying with us at that time of their lives or not.
Or even our cousin Mark.
Yeah, our cousin Mark, who lived with us for a while.
Who might even be getting one chuckle out of this entire podcast.
I hope he gets at least one.
So our cousin Mark, who is a French horn player by profession, he was in high school when he lived with us at the time, and he, for some reason, decided to make a French horn out of a garden hose.
I remember this. Yep.
Remember that?
Yep.
He cut holes in it and put a big funnel on the end. And
what?
He'd play it.
For real? And it worked?
Well, as much as
sort of
you might expect.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably the most that made the biggest impression on me.
He should have connected somehow like a sheep's bladder or something.
Oh, and had a bagpipe.
Yeah, a French baghorn.
But we did have these family members staying with us for some reason. People would send their high school age kids to stay with my parents especially during the summers, because it was
kind of like
I don't know why.
A boot camp?
It's like sending them off to camp, yeah. And I think Mark's parents were somewhere overseas, because he worked for the Voice of America back before it became part of Fox News.
It did?
And it used to be a government agency.
Oh.
Yeah, he was there for a while. Bruce, of course, was with us most of his high school career, and our older brothers Scott and Alan were with us once in a while, too. Mm-hmm. Bruce and Scott used to work out at the country club during the summers. That was a summer job. They'd go out there and ride around the carts all overnights doing watering and stuff like that. It seemed like the coolest thing.
And see their dad during the summer. But you guys also had three younger sisters.
Yeah, but the consistent ones, of course, were
they're not that consistent.
Our three younger sisters. So we had the core 5 kids.
Yeah, much to our consternation, they persisted to.
They did persist.
Remain,
yeah.
Persisted
we protested a lot.
Yeah, we did. They stuck around, all 3.
She persisted.
Just tell Rohan that his
persisted.
sister is going to continue to persist.
Yes, he's having some trouble accepting that reality, but
yeah.
Well,
get over it.
So what's the year gap there? Like 3 years?
He's 4.5, so
yeah.
Yeah, it's a
4 years.
substantial.
Oh,
pretty
well,
substantial.
no, I knew how old he was. My math isn't good. I was doing fake math.
Mm-hmm. What are we all drinking tonight? Rob, you're drinking
A Rob
the
Roy.
rye.
Crown Royal Rye.
Crown Royal Rye. Is that the bottle I left there like a year ago?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
and I
okay.
am trying to.
Impressive.
So I have to finish all of my liquor before we move, so I'm working through it.
Why? They
I
don't.
don't know.
Is Baltimore a dry state? A city?
It's not a city. No, it's
It's a city state.
you can't. You can't really move liquor. You can't have the movers
Oh
pack it up, and
It doesn't make it.
it doesn't make it.
no, you
for-
just
for
put it.
whatever reason.
I'm sure John would figure out a way to put it in a duffel bag in his trunk or something, along with one of the kids.
Well, why am I the one who would figure this out?
I don't know. Okay. No, because
I'm
sometimes when
being misrepresented.
no, sometimes when you come over, you have a duffel bag of liquor.
Oh, I have a one of those wine bottle carrier bags.
Oh, it's not a duffel bag.
Yeah, full of money.
The duffel bag he has like heroin and half a body.
Half, yeah.
Just half.
What are you drinking tonight, Phil?
Now I'm still doing a scotch and soda. I'm on a kick
Scotch
still.
and soda.
I think I've been on a scotch and soda for like the past 8 episodes. Maybe Rob would remember. No,
No,
he
it's
hasn't
not
heard.
8 episodes.
He hasn't heard all the other ones. Never mind.
Because you started with a gin drink, didn't you?
It was a gin.
A gin fizz. Again, what we call a backseater. It's a British call. It's a gin gin called a backseater.
Wow.
Paul's gonna love this episode.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait till you hear the part that I recorded when you were both gone.
Oh my God.
Hey.
Uh-oh. Yeah, he might trip when he's running.
Yeah.
Warning: this podcast is not recommended listening while running or, well, never mind. So what were you
English.
gonna? So running while English? Yeah, that should be a crime. That should be a crime right there.
I've come full circle, and I'm drinking Cuddy Prohibition Edition,
Oh,
which I believe was on the first episode.
It was. I remember.
And because
I listened to
my
it just
favorite
now.
store here has it for $10 a bottle, so I had to stock up.
yeah, $10 a bottle is crazy. That's like normally 27.
Yeah.
It's good because it's cheap.
Yes, it is. And I just that's what I have.
Rob, what draft are you on your novel?
You just killed my buzz.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'd like to take another break and go get another beverage.
Then go ahead, and I'm going to read a letter.
Really?
No.
A letter from fans.
Yeah, if you want to get
Read him a
drink,
letter.
If you want to go get a drink, I could. We did have a listener comment that John and I could talk about, but whatever.
All right, you want to do that? I'll be back in a minute.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
You're up, Phil.
No, I didn't really have anything. I just wanted to get rid of him so we could be alone. I'm not used to talking with more than one person.
Yeah, it's a little weird.
So are you. No, we did have a listen. Did you get any listener comments on the tweeter?
No tweets.
Okay, well, I just had one from Christine in Brookings again. She said,
Okay. When's the Taco John's episode gonna come
No.
out? Okay.
I know.
Maybe that's somebody else.
That was Heather. That should be soon. Anyway, Christine says, you should put out an album of the songs. Okay, so one thing about that John and I had talked about was, so this will be the last episode or second to the last episode if it's a two-parter. I don't know yet. But then after that of season 1, then after that we'll put out we're talking about putting out a compilation or something of all the songs from the season. And hopefully everyone will go out and buy it because
And
I know
the motivation there is they don't have to listen to us talking
no, they can
to
just
hear the songs.
or fast forward to the song. No,
Please fast forward to the song.
I doubt anyone does that. I'm sure there's fast forwarding going on, but yeah. So we're talking about putting out the songs and because everyone loves to buy music now, so I figured that would be a good way to make some money.
That's a joke.
I think Yeah.
What?
I think the music industry is right there, Phil.
Well, I guess I'm behind the times, but I do have a Gmail account. That reminds me of a story because my dad has the same name as I do. So I would get phone calls. Now, okay, so we're at the house, of course, so I'd answer the phone. Is Phil Hunter there? And I'm like, which one? And they're like, well, the one with the beard, and that worked for a while. But if I was there in the summer and I had a beard, I was like, okay, which one? Which one with the beard? But anyway. And then he wasn't even...
You had a grandfather with that name too, didn't you?
It went back even further than that.
So it's possible 3 of you could be in the same place.
I could have gotten a phone call from my great-grandpa, but I doubt it.
Okay.
Well, that's another episode about which you talk about dads. No, I don't want to talk about dads.
We brought up our dads quite a bit already, I think, but...
Yes, it's been... I noticed it's been a recurring topic on the podcast.
Kissing the past ass has been a recurring topic.
Well, but yes, but not
I mean, you
kissing our
just
dad's
wait till
ass.
the rest of them come out. There's even more nostalgic waxing and waning.
I don't know if in proportion, we don't talk about our dads that much. But, I mean, your dad...
Oh, yeah.
I'm nothing against my dad. My dad was quite a character, too. But your dad was an icon in Rapid City, really. And
and of course,
why
he was
isn't
very influential to all of us, too. Like for example... I've had this song stuck in my head all day called "Pass the Biscuits, Mirandy," which is, I think I sent you and Sean the lyrics to it because they're so funny.
What I don't think I'd ever heard that, but Sean had mentioned that it was
Spike
Jones
a Spike
did it or
Jones
something.
song. I don't know if he came up with it, but it's just funny even done straight.
Well, I'm just reading it.
For some reason, it popped up and. Spike Jones has actually, ruined a number of very famous songs for me. Like sometimes I'll play. I'll be doing a gig with my dance band or something like that, and a song that Spike Jones has covered, which was the first exposure I had to it. Mm-hmm. That's all I think about, and I just sit there and kind of giggle while I play it.
Well,
yeah,
maybe it helps keep some of those gigs
interesting.
interesting.
And of course, Rob, our dad, got us into that or played it for us.
Oh, it's the memories of listening to Spike Jones with our dad. The way that he would laugh is just so carved in my memory. He would, and he didn't laugh that often, but when he really lost it, and you'd see him, he'd tears in his eyes, and he'd just guffaw. And
totally. He would do. We had that one LP of kind of his greatest hits, and we played it a lot. And of course, Dad always used to do this thing where, like, people would come over, his friends or whatever would come over after orchestra rehearsal or something, and for beers, and he'd pull something out and make them listen to it.
You used to do that with us.
Oh, I totally do. I still do it to you. like the the Unbelievable Symphony or Guggenheimer Sauerkraut Band, or all those some great, some not so great things.
Yeah.
Was he? Did he do the PDQ Bach thing too, or was that more of a? How did you guys get into that?
I got into PDQ Bach when I was like in middle school, and I don't think that was because of my dad.
No, it's
maybe
sort of
Bruce
related,
or somebody. I don't remember where I heard of it.
Yeah, it may have been Bruce who introduced that.
Probably Bruce in that case. I don't think Dad was I think Dad appreciated it, but it wasn't something he would drag out very often.
Not at the parties.
No. Well, I mean, Phil, you and Sean were over last weekend, and I made you watch this Sterling Hayden thing.
Well, you didn't make
Rob,
us.
you remember who Sterling Hayden was, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's this film that apparently the last 20 years of his life he lived on a boat.
Is that right?
And just drank and smoked weed all day, and
he had a huge beard.
This, I think it was French or German or some European TV crew came out and just did these long interviews with him, and he just sat there and just went off about whatever was on his mind. It's so funny.
I couldn't tell you what he was talking about because I had a couple of beverages also, but
it was so funny. It was just he would just be sitting there on his boat.
Well, they're all
shooting
told,
the breeze.
and that's and then
and all this and this, and then I went over,
so
and then I went over there, and then when I did this, I
Rob, it's on the Plex. I'll have to point it out to you.
Okay.
It's so funny.
That was not
And
very
just
good.
the
Sterling
most
Harris.
bizarre stuff. But it's so we kind of share a lot of that with our dads or daws.
Another thing, you guys were you were in the Suzuki cult, right?
Not me.
John.
No,
It
What?
wasn't really going when I was that age.
you're pre-Suzuki.
Rob was the first Suzuki specimen.
Experiment.
It wasn't really a cult, but
The
they
How
do
is
get.
it?
I know, Phil. You think it's a cult?
No, I'm just saying you get 3-year-olds playing a box. I don't know, but whatever.
No, yeah, you start with a box, and then you graduate to a 1/32 size violin, which is what Rohan is currently playing.
No, Rob.
And-
You know all about this.
And but I was a failed experiment. So my mother and my teacher, they didn't really know. It was sort of like in the olden times when you would take a correspondence course. That's how you'd pick up your arithmetic. It was sort of
Or get a
you learn it
mail order
wrong.
bride.
yeah, exactly.
Correspondence sex education. Yeah.
That's right. It's the best
That's what
kind.
the internet's for.
Yeah, I mean the internet's changed everything, obviously, right? I don't know what that means. So,
Change
but
this.
I was kind of a failed experiment because
You were the
my-
first one?
I was the first one and
Oh,
the first
okay.
student,
And it was you.
and it was me. So that's already a problem. And
Rob was kind of a failed experiment.
I was like lore. Haha, Star Trek reference.
Hi, Eric.
No,
Hi,
God.
Eric.
I don't know. Whatever. So you just didn't you couldn't move away from the box? You just got kind of stuck on the box, or what
I
happened?
got stuck in book 1, and it took me probably 3 years or something like that to get out of it. And eventually, I did move on and became a decent violin player, but it was just so many mistakes were made, and
Now they learned a lot from you.
they did because my sisters are much better players, and they were much better students when they were young. So
Yeah, they're all quite good actually.
Well, Elizabeth does that gig. She can do different styles and stuff too. I mean, she does.
Oh, her country and western show.
Yeah.
country and western.
Yeah, she does a hell of a job.
Oh no!
Oh, yeah.
I saw her a few years ago. It was amazing.
Yep, she could have been on Hee Haw.
Oh, I could have too. Really.
Oh. Yeah, you could have been on Hee Haw as well. You could have opened one of those doors and said,
What do you- Phil-
Sorry, go ahead, Phil. I'm
That's
sorry.
a good what's his name impression.
Gabby Hayes.
Gabby Hayes.
No.
Gabby
Yeah, there's
Johnson.
that. Who was that guy that was in all the Walter Brennan?
Was that
Who
really
was in
Walter
all the
Brennan,
John
dude?
Ford movies?
Who would play that character?
Yeah, he was the same in all the movies.
That was
Oh,
Sterling
my God.
Hayden. Remember Sterling Hayden in Hee Haw? Gosh, that was a funny one.
Oh,
He had a
gosh.
giant beard.
He'd open that
He had
door.
a corn cob pipe and come out of the corn and that's it. And this is what we did over there. And then the tree fell. That tree over there. All right.
So-
anyway.
The only thing I think of in Hee Haw is that it used to be on at some period before another show I actually wanted to watch. And I had to wait for the stupid thing to end.
No, I associate it with when my grandparents babysat. We lived like a block away, so we'd go over there and babysat, and they babysat us, my 2 younger brothers and I. There was only 3 of us.
Yes.
But so it was Hee Haw, or it was Lawrence Welk and then Hee Haw. I can't remember. But they had one of those big TVs, cabinets, and
Console television.
oh,
Yes.
it was really wide, and it looked like it was a big piece of furniture, really.
Had a stereo in it, maybe even.
I think so. Anyway, no, that's what I associate it with, was being babysat by the grandparents. My grandpa Phil and my grandma Nora.
Lawrence Welk.
Well,
Lawrence
Lawrence
Welk.
Welk, yeah.
Lawrence Welk I did watch because our great grandmother really liked that show.
Yep.
Remember, John?
She would turn it on every weekend.
Now, this always reminds me of a phenomenon that I was never aware of called the rural purge. In the early 70s, the networks decided that they were
Oh,
going
this
to,
is good, Rob. Yeah, I've heard of this, but go ahead. You'll explain it well.
that they were going to ditch the programming that was oriented towards rural America. So the small town show, so Hee Haw, Green Acres, other shows that were set in small towns or set in the country, were going to be
Petticoat
ditched.
Junction.
Petticoat Junction. They were all canceled, sort of en masse, and in favor of more quote urban programming. So that would include things like I don't know, the Brady Bunch even. I mean, or suburban programming. things that were supposed to have a younger audience. And this was
this is the 1960s you're talking about.
Well, so mostly, this happened.
Right?
Actually, this happened in the early 70s. That was the.
So that's about when stuff like All in the Family got popular, for example.
Right. So the shift to urban sort of, and it was a conscious decision that even though these shows were doing well, they were getting good ratings, they were still ditched in favor of. Now the Lawrence Welk show was not. So that was not purged as part of the rural purge. That survived through the 70s.
So Lawrence Welk, I read about not too long ago, and he's kind of an interesting guy because apparently, as cheesy as he was, and as funny as his show covering One Toke Over the Line, Sweet Jesus, which is one of the funniest things. Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's great.
He was trying to get the urban crowd.
As funny as that was and everything, the guy was actually a brilliant businessman, an entrepreneur.
Is he from North Dakota or Nebraska? Where's he from?
He's from North Dakota originally,
right.
But one of the things he did was he was super professional and did his cheesy stuff super well. And he also was smart enough to retain ownership of his recordings and TV shows. And I think, from what I gather, he did really well. and his stuff ran in syndication for many years and sold lots of records. And he I think it was many times he could have sold out to one of the big companies, and he always maintained his own control over his material, and he did really well with it. Very unusual.
So, but they did some kind of packages or something too. Didn't they do some kind of TV, you could get videotapes of him or something? Or am I confused?
Oh, they sold his stuff all over the place.
Yeah, it was a lot of merchandising, right? I mean, geez.
No, it is amazing though, in a way though, and I think about this since I play this music all the time. Not Lawrence Welk, but like music from the 40s or 50s or whatever. Is that most of the people, sadly enough, who grew up or have nostalgic attachment to, say, the big band era and stuff are all no longer with us, for the most part. Yet this music is still performed and danced to. It's a niche, but it hasn't completely disappeared, which is kind of remarkable.
Well, there was the radio companies got together for the big band purge, and they put out that was where A Flock of Seagulls came out, and it was a network decision.
Yeah, there's the Yacht Rock Initiative. Is
the Yacht Rock Initiative, exactly.
Flock of Seagulls.
Iran. Did you know that song was about the Iran War?
Yeah, Ayatollah Seagulls.
I feel like there's going to be a voiceover here.
Wrong.
This is not correct. In fact, the Ayatollah started Flock of Seagulls. That's not what your voice sounds like at all, Phil. I'm sorry.
No, but I should do some recordings. You could be the narrator for this one.
Wrong.
Now we're getting into.
I don't know what this is.
No,
we're getting to alternative history.
No, future history.
Future history.
Do you not want to talk about your book?
No, I'm happy to talk about it. But I don't want to foist it on you.
No. I would like to.
We might as well do some log rolling, huh?
Yeah, John and I.
Sure, let's do that.
John and I aren't very good at that. We don't promote our own stuff very well. Every now and then we'll talk about it.
I don't have anything to promote.
Well, you got gigs, but by the time these things get put out, the gigs are like three months ago.
This gig was 3 months ago.
Is there a gig that you can promote now, John? Like, is there something that's coming up?
Like next year?
Perhaps?
Well, unless you want to drive to Mackinac Island in October.
Oh, there you go.
Probably not.
Okay, so tell our listeners about that.
Oh, yeah. There. No, but let's talk about you instead. What's your do you want to talk about the title, or is it a working title, or how?
So,
how many drafts have you done now?
I haven't read it.
I haven't read it yet, and I apologize.
No, I don't blame you for you.
I'm too busy editing podcasts.
When you're working on a novel, it's good to have people read it with fresh eyes at various stages. So, and I think that's true actually of many different types of art. And so it's set in a future American theocracy. The main character is a priest detective who finds a body in a church baptismal font, and that leads him to uncover a state secret of incredible importance, which also affects him personally. So that's the basic premise of the book. And,
I like it.
The baptismal font is full of orange drink.
No,
that would be like the old McDonald's.
I'm trying to tie it into a previous discussion.
Put that
like
in the
the
future
McDonald's
draft,
orange
and then
drink?
we can tie in with the podcast.
Just so I'm clear on that, are we talking about the McDonald's
Yes.
yellow drink
Yellow?
thing? Wasn't that yellow? No, wasn't the container yellow?
No.
Oh, you're right. It was that.
Oh no,
it was the yellow red.
No,
It was McDonald's yellow, right?
No, the container was yellow, but
Don't
the
Yeah,
drink was
when
orange.
you would rent the
you'd rent it, and it was
the
orange. drink.
giant container to take to your event.
Event. Yeah.
See, Phil, if your events office had those, think of what you could do.
I don't do anything with food service.
Think about the possibilities. Your food service days, Phil, are behind you, but they were glorious.
Oh, that's I don't know. Maybe
You
other
haven't-
stories there too.
Yeah, you haven't even cracked that can open, have you?
So
Those
speaking of
days.
our jobs, one thing that we spent a lot of time talking about is our previous shit jobs. And one of the things, Rob, I don't know if you're aware of, but our nephew Seth is followed in your footsteps, is working at Safeway. Did you know that?
No, Safeway on Mount Rushmore Road. Yes, I did. I did actually know that, and but he's a checker, which we could not get anywhere near being a checker when I was working at Safeway. I was a bag boy, so called, and which actually is a slang term. A bag boy is actually a slang term for homosexual prostitute in the city, so that's not probably a good term.
Well, there was a lot of that going on in Rapid City and with the needle exchanges. I'm glad that you guys learned about safe sex at Safeway, because it is safe.
It was a very safe environment.
Well, no, because the checkers had been there quite a while.
They were coveted union jobs. They paid very well. And I was trying to explain to my wife the other day how well they paid, and I said, they made $70,000 a year! And my wife said, that's ridiculous. They did not make $70,000 a year working as checkers, even if they were union jobs.
In Rapid City?
In Rapid City, South Dakota. And I said, no! I think they made $150,000 a year! And so the argument continued into the night. But
no union is that good.
No, no union. Well, no grocers union is that good. Let's put it that way. No grocers union.
Well, obviously they don't have that anymore. So.
But for Rapid City at the time, they probably did pretty good.
They did pretty well, and my cousin, God bless him, Seth, is now working at Safeway, and I feel very proud.
Yeah, I know it. It's great.
I used to go to Safeway to get the Gizzards. I'd walk over there to get Gizzards and some potato chips. That was one of my special
wife
treats.
Loves fried Gizzards.
Really?
I don't get it at all.
Well, they're really chewy. I don't quite get it either.
They're disgusting.
No, the Gizzards and lizards.
Well, Phil, I've told
livers.
you how we have to stop at this gas station in Kadoka, South Dakota.
Oh,
Every time on the way out there.
I remember that gas station.
I think I've had those Gizzards.
Yeah. And she just loves them. She claims they're the best she's ever had at this one gas station.
Oh, I think she might be right.
But they also have this giant collection of pickled meats that you can.
It sounded like there was quotation marks around the meats.
Well, they probably are, and like so there's like
Pickled
pig's
eyeballs,
feet, and like these giant sausages in vinegar, and
bull's
one's
testicles.
called the Big Papa, one's called the Hot Mama, and
Oh, yeah.
You pull them out of this giant jar with a set of tongs.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the pickled eggs are. I like pickled eggs actually.
Do they have pig's feet?
Most of it looks gross. Yeah, they have feet.
Why do they stop with pig's feet when they're pickling things? That's what I don't understand. Why we just go whole hog and just pickle everybody's feet? I mean, why can't I get an iguana foot and a llama foot?
Talk about chewy.
A llama foot. I mean, why a pig's foot? Did you know that when they introduced cannibals to pork, they were like, whoa, because evidently they figured it out, but it tasted very similar to human. No, that's the truth. This is where I'll put the wind sound effect.
Crickets.
I knew there was going to be a voice over there, so I just wanted to let that silence reign.
No, I could cut it down to right at the razor.
You can cut it down right to it's a razor, as tight as a razor. Give and take, give and take, give and take.
And the edge of a razor.
So, Rob, what's your favorite pickle thing? I'm a little pickled right now, and I'm probably I think I'm Rob's favorite pickle thing.
Let me tell you. Oh, yes, you are.
Come here, bag boy. No, sorry.
This is veering into.
I don't think this is safe.
It's not safe
It's not
way.
safe way. It's not a safe way to go.
This is how, Rob, this is how they all go. I don't know how we put anything together that's remotely listenable. But...
No, it is listenable. That's the thing. That's the scary thing is it's listenable.
Any podcast that can go from Lawrence Welk to homosexuality is
waxing.
I haven't used that word for so long. Homosexuality. I've never said that in like 20 years. I don't. It's not in my common vernacular.
That's really weird, man.
Okay. Do you like anything pickled? You're pickles.
I like pickled cucumbers. That's all.
Did you know they call them pickles?
What? No, I buy my pickled cucumbers when I go to the grocery store.
At Safeway, you can only get pickled cucumbers from the bag boys on the street. So what? Sorry. Anyway,
a pickled in the United Kingdom, a pickled cucumber is known as a flaccid, juiced cumber.
Oh yes, Winston.
We have nothing to fear but juice cumbers. You know, that wasn't really a cigar. It was a pickle in a brown paper.
I'm sorry, we're insulting our allies.
Oh, hey, if the president could do it.
That's true.
Yay!
Hey.
You
don't have to talk about your favorite pickle thing.
Pickled hard-boiled eggs are good. I like them.
Pickled eggs? I've never.
Oh, come on! You've never had a pickled egg?
I to be honest, the only pickled thing I've probably had is a pickle. I can't think of any.
Okay, someday you're gonna try a pickled hard-boiled egg. They're really good.
All right. Do they get kind of green? They get kind of green?
No? Not if you do them right.
No.
They stay.
Yes, and if you a little mustard flavor in them, they're good.
All right.
That's where green eggs and ham came from. Did you know that Dr. Seuss was go Google it? Yeah, he was
homosexual.
He was a souse. He was a communist. He was a communist pickled guy. So Rob, you got to visit Cuba. You want to talk about Cuba at all? Speaking of cigars,
you're covering a lot of territory. Cuba. Quickly, Cuba.
No, wait. What was your favorite drink you had in Cuba? Was it the Cuba Libre?
No, it was a mojito.
Oh well, I bet they had good. They don't have Cuba Libres down there, probably.
No, they do. Strangely, they do.
It's free Cuba.
It's ironic.
No, because they've just appropriated it.
Well,
the communists appropriate things. I remember, just snapshots of Cuba, old Havana, beautiful decaying old Havana, frozen in time like a postcard from the 1950s, with the U.S. cars, sort of, old Fords, and prostitutes in the nightclubs. I go to the men's room. These were the good old days. I walked to the men's room, and we were all in a nightclub, and I was literally just surrounded by probably a dozen prostitutes.
Oh man,
and
that's a lot of pressure. How do you choose?
It was a lot of pressure. I know, it's hard.
Because I can't say no. I have a hard time saying no.
Because you want to be, yeah. I mean, you want to be.
Okay, all 12 of you. All right, fine.
That's fine. No, it was disturbing. It was not.
No, I'm being facetious.
I know.
That would be difficult. It's like I'm just trying to go to the bathroom for one thing.
Right? Oh.
Right?
Right.
Well, we don't need to stop on that, but I don't know. I've seen videos because I watch documentaries.
No, it's striking.
Shows,
It does have that frozen in time quality to it, which is it gives you conflicting feelings because you think, well, it'd be terrible if this were all just opened up to development the way that every other Caribbean place has been, But at the same time, the people are suffering too because
and the buildings are falling down.
The buildings are literally falling down, and it's charming, but it's probably not charming for them.
But you don't have to live there.
Yeah, right. That's right. I mean, a lot of people do. I think a lot of it's very, in some ways, it's very colonial. I think a lot of expats do live there and kind of exploit sort of the disadvantages of the locals. And I mean, it's not just Cuba where this happens. Obviously, it happens all over the world in places that
And even in Scotts Bluff, Nebraska.
Scotts Bluff, Nebraska is where you live high on the hog.
That's because that's where Scott lives.
Is
it? Oh, that's a bluff.
It's just a bluff. I hope you'll be able to recover something of value out of this.
No, I'm enjoying it. I haven't talked to you for so long. I just like to talk to you.
Yeah, same here.
That's probably why John started he kind of badgered me a little bit with the podcast because let's do a podcast. I'm like, who's going to listen? I don't even want to listen to us talk. But what?
No, I was just going to say it's surprising listening to people talk about themselves, talking about what they're passionate about, and then also nostalgia too. I think it's really powerful. It's talking about things that are lost and forgotten is
like in Cuba.
Something really compelling about it. Yeah, well, like Cuba, but
no, it's stuck there. Never mind, it's not lost
from our own.
Well,
it's stuck.
Did your experience in Cuba did that influence your book at all?
That's a good question.
And maybe you don't even know.
Really
it probably did.
I mean, it because
well, no, because when I think about theocracies or something, I would probably have. I haven't read your book, but I'd probably go at the angle like that, kind of as if America was in the 50s, maybe, but in the future. But you didn't. Not that America in the 50s was a theocracy, but for some reason I associate with, I don't know why, the 50s with that kind of.
But it was conformity and.
Yeah.
And sort of things being driven underground, things that were. Yeah. That's really interesting insight.
Well, you can talk about it in the next time you're on.
Sure, I'm always happy to come on and talk about myself, just like everyone else.
I'm now drinking Knob Creek Rye.
That sounds really good.
Which I think, Rob, you bought.
Okay.
And you stole it from your mom's house?
I stole it out of my mom's house.
Oh. The last time I was there, I was very impressed by the collection that's been built up between the two of us.
Wait, start over. I missed you. You were very impressed by what?
By the collection that we built up between the two of us at our mom's house.
And Paul.
It's a very respectable collection of whiskey that we have
at your mom's.
Just there at my mom's.
Who does not drink?
Does not really drink much, and certainly doesn't drink whiskey.
How does she taught thousands of children how to play string instruments and not drink?
I don't know.
She's a saint.
Something like that.
Well, you guys can talk. I'll get a drink.
Oh, all right. Okay. Yeah, I did you buy this bottle? Because I don't know who did.
Yeah, I probably did. Because
there was that, and there was also a bottle of Irish whiskey there too.
Yes, that I definitely bought.
And I sampled. That wasn't open. I sampled that.
Good.
And left it. And there was
and
still
was
a
good
bottle
stuff.
of.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Oh, that cheap Shackleton.
Right. The Shackleton. Yep.
The Shackleton Light or whatever.
Right. But still pretty good.
To be honest, I didn't care for it, but
as opposed to the.
Well, I only had the real stuff maybe once, and I don't remember it well enough. I thought the cheap Shackleton was kind of harsh.
Yeah, I think the original was much better.
I'm sure. I mean, this stuff's what, $30 for a bottle, and the other stuff was $100 plus.
It was, and I remember Dad really liking it quite a bit. The original.
No, I remember it being good. I just something about it. It had a really kind of bite to it that not in a pleasant way.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So I got a bottle of Elijah Craig from
the 12-year.
Yeah, 12-year. It was a gift from my students.
That stuff's decent. Yeah,
it's good. It's strong. It's really strong stuff. So I actually drink it with ice.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's just overpowering. But it's good stuff.
Yeah. When Phil and Sean were over, I broke out this bottle of barrel strength American malt whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an American malted barley whiskey, but it's also smoked.
Really?
So it's like but it's not peat smoke. It's from other kinds of like wood smoke and stuff like that. It's really unique.
It was odd. I'm back, by the way. It was
that
odd.
Stuff was like, let's see, it was 65% alcohol or something like that, so 130 proof.
It's basically just like grain alcohol with some liquid smoke thrown in there, I think.
Oh, it's really good though, but it is so strong. And
it's better than
I
it
haven't
sounds.
had a hangover in ages, and I had one that night.
Oh, that was rough. I had a rough day.
Of course, we were down there drinking that, watching that Sterling Hayden thing. And
you know what that reminds me
of?
to
keep drinking.
The Sterling Hayden thing reminds me so much of those outtakes from the Orson Welles wine commercials where he's really drunk. And those never fail to make me laugh. Just
there's a new or rediscovered Orson Welles movie that's coming out. I'm really curious to see because it's called The Other Side of the Wind. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
He was working on it when he died, I think. So it's relatively recent, but it's one of those weird meta, movies about making a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I don't think Wells is actually in it, but it has John Huston is the fake film director.
Oh, wait a minute! I've read about this. That's coming out.
No animals were hurt in the production of this podcast.
They kind of it was never quite finished, and they raised a bunch of money and got all the legal stuff taken care of, and they put it together
and put a happy ending on it.
But it's supposedly really, really interesting, and
that would be worth seeing. I'm sure
it's taken like 30 years of them fighting with the Orson Welles errors and all that stuff over it.
What was his role in it? Did he direct it or write it or something?
He wrote and directed it.
Okay, but
probably before he died, all
he'd
managed to do is do a preview reel of it or something like that, and he never finished it. But he did write there was a complete script and everything, so they just had to put it together, I think.
Well, he was going to have a comeback, and then he died. That reminds me,
It was
John,
never the same after he was in the Muppet movie.
I just heard a weird kind of possessed thing in the background.
Sounds like my nephew.
Is he done with the Wall Street Journal?
Now he's working on Legos. He's working on Legos.
Rowan, this is
Rob.
Rupert Murdoch. It's time to practice.
We're having it. Rob cut out there again.
No, it's because I turned away to look at my son, and he's working on Legos right now.
Oh,
Yay.
Legos! My
Legos.
my son is 15, and my daughter's 11, and we have this huge bin of Legos from over the years, just all thrown in there. And that's one thing new dads should do is like walk on those. But anyway, no. As a training.
Yeah,
as a
Spencer has a million of them too.
So anyway, but we just pulled those out. We were making weird Lego things the other day. So save your Legos, Rob. Or
I
his
will.
Legos.
I will for sure.
And they make Legos for girls now. Did you notice that? No.
They make pink Legos.
Oh.
Well, they do, but it's boys can play with pink Legos too.
What did you say?
What did you say?
Can he can't hear us?
What's that?
Right? He can't hear us. Hi, Rohan. Rohan. Sorry if I mispronounced his name because my nephew's name is Ronan.
Right. Yes.
So I might say, and I've had a couple scotch and sodas.
It's Rohan, like Attila the Hun.
Rohan.
Rohan.
Do you roll the R at all, or can I?
Oh, I always roll the R.
Rohan.
Rohan.
Rohan, come here and put your Legos away, or I'm going to kick your ass.
Exactly.
There.
So, Rob, have you heard about this little project I'm doing where I'm watching all these movies Dad owned?
I have heard, and I approve.
He's got a blog. Who does that?
I'm pretty retro. I just finished the other night the most recent one. It's called Beau Jest. You know that movie?
Well,
there's a big story about that one.
So, Beau Jest, let me tell you, I remember as a kid watching this movie called The Last Remake of Beau Jest.
Yes, I always think of that too.
With Corey Feldman.
Oh, that's what I'm confusing it with.
Is that a Mel Brooks movie?
It must have been, right? Or something.
Okay,
No,
yeah, of course.
Or like one of Mel Brooks's proteges or something.
Somebody Google it.
You guys are killing me. Job security. The last remake of Beau Geste, 1977, was directed by Marty Feldman and written by Marty Feldman and starring Marty Feldman.
Yeah, somebody Google it.
Yeah, interesting. So,
anyway, go ahead.
The plot of this movie revolves around these three orphan brothers who all end up in the French Foreign Legion. And all I could think of was watching this is, I guess I just didn't connect to it very well, but what the fuck is up with the French Foreign Legion?
That's a good question, because I never figured they were in movies.
I guess I think of like Sons of the Desert with Laurel and Hardy and all these other. They were kind of culturally important at some point in the past.
So maybe it never really happened. It was just American movies. They went, hey, you know what, Laurel and Hardy, let's put them in a desert with funny hats.
Well, I think the French Foreign Legion. I mean, so one thing was they it was a place where what am I about to explain the French Foreign Legion?
No, please do, because I had a very unresearched view.
Unilluminating.
Yeah. So please do it. Yours will be much better.
All I know about the French Legion is legions. It's from
Some
Laurel and
woman
Hardy.
in Paris.
They're really itchy.
No, it's just from Laurel and Hardy. That's all I know.
I
know.
My French
Because
Foreign
that was a documentary, right?
No.
like all of their work.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No,
The
you
piano
go ahead.
movers.
Rob, go ahead. Okay, so here we are. Rob, you can expound at your leisure.
You're the expoundiest.
So the French Foreign Legion acquired its reputation because it was a colonial force, military force that allowed residents of other countries to join. So it wasn't like the British. They had their system of colonial governance that was very, very British, and they would recruit from their own colonized people, but they would not allow like Americans to join or anything like that. So this is
right.
So the French Foreign Legion.
Americans could go join the foreign. Did they call it the Foreign Legion?
The French
if they were
Foreign
doing
Legion.
That?
So it was
It
was a way to travel the world and live a very manly life, and in exotic places. But it was more, just a fantasy and than it was actually. I don't know how many people actually joined the French Foreign Legion.
So it wasn't like the modern equivalent of the Crusades or something. They didn't like okay, we got to get a bunch of money together and go over in that country. This was an ongoing thing where people wore funny hats and would go to the desert, basically.
Well,
right?
yeah, they go to and of course in this movie, they have a sadistic, commanding officer, and
how cliche.
Yeah, it's very cliched, but 1930s. So what are you gonna do? But they sit there and defend this.
I would cast Lawrence
fort, and basically they just shoot lots of African Tuareg soldiers.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of them on horseback, and I just kept thinking, what the fuck is up with this group of? I don't even know what they're supposed to be doing. It's like this really shallow, bad.
You know what?
Colonial.
Why they did that, John? Because they didn't have Happy Joes and they didn't have skeet suits. Okay, never mind.
It's called trap shoot.
Oh, it is called trap shoot. I do remember this now.
What? We can't say that on the show.
So clarify for me, John, since you're the repository of collected memory.
Repository.
You are my memory. So this is like a science
suppository. What?
You're my repository.
Jesus. Shove it up your ass.
John, no, that's better. John.
That's Eric. Sorry.
John is the suppository of information.
Oh man, this is devolved.
Weird Devo.
So you are the suppository.
That's the episode title. I'm calling it right now. A suppository of information.
Well, it's kind of like a font except reverse.
So Rob, go ahead.
Just I want clarification because I was struggling with this the other day, trying to remember. Was crapshoot or trap shoot? Was it only at Happy Joe's, or was there also one at Shakey's?
So the name of the machine was called Trap with a T. Shoot.
Oh,
and right. I got it wrong, Phil, in our last recording. I called it crap shoot or skeet shoot. I called it skeet shoot.
That's what I thought it was.
And I thought it was doing that. I found it on one of these, old arcade game websites, and no, it's called trap shoot, and it's the one with the little guys holding the guns and the little two shacks on the side of the screen, and
the outhouses
lights go up. Yep, they look like outhouses.
Well, the one on the left with an outhouse, and then the one on the right you'd go in to power up by eating a pickled egg. No, that was a different game.
Yeah, no, that was because we had a Happy Joe's segue in one of our previous episodes.
Okay,
that hasn't aired yet. What? So, but why didn't Happy Joe's have pickled eggs?
It doesn't go with the ice cream.
It could. Sean would eat pickled egg ice cream.
Sean, yeah.
Was it?
I'm not gonna go.
But just for
Rob,
my own
was
peace
that your
of
question?
mind.
How we got
That's my question. Was it only Happy
Why
Joe's?
were you
or did
thinking
Shakey's?
about trap shoot?
I don't know.
No, he played that at the nightclubs in Cuba.
They had trap shoot. Sorry.
No, crap shoot is like shooting craps.
Really, you were
Other
thinking
American
about
relics.
Happy Joe's trap shoot machine recently?
Well, I was thinking about trap shoot and playing.
Oh, we haven't even aired that episode. That's kind of weird.
No, he hasn't heard that, Phil.
No, I haven't heard it. Yeah.
Oh,
I was just thinking about it.
Great minds think.
No, it's some sort of brother bond from across the.
Yeah, because I was thinking about Happy Joe's because I read one of those. Hey, isn't it funny how Happy Joe's did blah 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 articles that you find online where people make fun of, old stuff.
No, what you mean is one of the articles that people like you find. I've never seen that. Because you're a suppository of information.
I'm a suppository. Yeah, it gets you coming and going. Oh my God!
Oh, this is terrible.
This is the worst episode yet.
Oh, except for the parts when Rob's talking.
Quality is really poor. Yeah.
No. I'm enjoying it.
Was it only at Happy Joe's, or was it also at Shakey's? I could not remember.
I don't remember it at Shakey's.
Okay.
Shakey's didn't. My association with the early Shakey's was the sing-along, the banjo guy, but they'd also play like Laurel and Hardy movies where they were in the French Legion or whatever. And then later on, they had some video games. They had a little arcade section. They expanded, but then like Battle Zone.
That's kind of almost into the Bunch of Grease era, though.
Yeah, well then it was the Bunch of Grease era.
Yeah. Lost times.
The one thing I hated about eating at Shakey's was every time I'd go to the restroom, 12 prostitutes would accost me.
Well, it was authentic.
Or is that Sharkleys? Yeah.
Sharkleys.
Sharkleys.
That's what Dad called it.
That was one of his malapropisms. Or
what are your dadisms?
That's not the right word for it. Yeah.
Well, why didn't you put Ronan on? Rohan. Rohan.
Would you like to join?
Hello.
Okay.
Can you hear us? Hi, Rohan.
Hi.
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 This is Phil and John. Maybe you don't remember me, but I've met you in the past.
Yeah.
Probably when you were 3.5, maybe. But now you're like 4.5 or something, right? What's your
4 3/4.
4 3/4? Boy, you really go. That's good for your fractions. So what's your favorite thing about being 4 3/4?
'Cause I'm really old.
You're really old?
Yeah.
That's your favorite thing? What about being really old is good?
Yes.
Well, what do you like about being old?
Because so I can read better. So I
Right.
can read.
What do you like to read? Besides the Wall Street Journal?
Books.
Books? Well, what's your favorite book right now?
I don't know yet.
Did you ever read Goodnight Moon?
It's not Batman.
No,
Yeah.
Batman. Did you ever read Goodnight Moon?
I don't like that one.
What about Dr. Seuss books? Have you ever read any of those? Like
No.
Red Fish, Blue Fish, One Fish, Two Fish?
I
No?
I only like Batman.
Oh, you do like Batman. So Batman, are you
He
talking?
is Batman.
I'm Batman. So you really like Batman a lot, huh? Well, what's your favorite
Yeah,
Batman? What do you like about Batman?
I don't know.
What's your favorite thing? What I mean, his outfit? That's pretty cool. His utility
I
belt?
don't know. I don't know what I like about him. No,
don't
I
know?
don't know.
Oh, he's a cool guy.
Yeah.
Do you like Robin too, or is that like, nah, never mind?
I don't know. Robin is a little bit smaller.
He's too small?
Yeah, I don't really like him a lot. Just a little bit.
Okay. What the Joker? He's kind of
I
scary
like
though, isn't he?
Robin.
Oh,
I
Robin?
don't like him at all. Yeah.
What's like your what bad guys on the Batman? Do Joker and Scarecrow and stuff, or what do they talk about?
Joker and all of the villains made friends with Batman at the end of when he told them that.
They become
In
friends?
the story, yeah. In the
Oh,
story.
I don't remember that book.
I think he's rewriting these.
No, maybe they have a different version that I haven't read. So what do they do when they're friends? Do they go play like violin or soccer or something?
Probably they just become friends.
Well, what do you like to do with your friends? Maybe they do the same thing. Do they play Legos?
They do everything.
Everything.
And probably I just have two best friends.
Yeah. What do you like to do with them?
I don't know. I like
No?
playing. I like playing
Well, what's your favorite thing to eat?
pizza.
Oh, I could eat a pizza right now. What's your favorite kind of pizza, Bill? There's all kinds of pizzas. You like Batman pizza? No, that's not. What's
I
your favorite
love
pizza?
him.
Pepperoni
Batman
pizza?
Batman.
Batman pizza.
That would be good. They should have a Batman pizza. But what do you like on your pizza? Like pepperoni or sausage or jalapeno?
I like Batman on it.
You can't have a Batman on your pizza? Batman stepped on your pizza, it would get all squished. Well, you have whatever you want. What's your favorite dessert, though? Do you like ice cream?
I like cheese.
Cheese?
I like ninjas. I like
What?
ninjas on my pizza. I like
Ninjas?
ninjas.
Ninjas?
Ninja? Like ninja?
Oh, a ninja pizza? Oh, that's almost even better than a Batman pizza. Oh. Well, so do you like ice cream? No?
Yes, I do. But probably I like ice cream inside my popsicles.
Ooh,
Oh, that
that's
sounds good. I could go for that too.
Especially when it's hot. Is it hot there right now? So are you like in fifth grade and you're driving? Are you driving?
Right now I'm a first year, and tomorrow I'm a second year, and many more days after tomorrow I'm gonna be a stay-upper.
What was that last part? You're going to be a what?
A stay-upper. A stay-upper. Right now, a stay-upper.
Okay, all right.
So right now I'm a first year, but tomorrow I'm going to be a second year.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. Is that like in preschool or...
No, it's in my Montessori school what I have not right now.
Montessori school where they do Japanese flags.
Yeah? No, that was John. Do you like what's your favorite subject now in school? Is it like religious studies or maybe philosophy?
No thanks.
No?
What did he say no thanks to?
That's cool.
I asked what his favorite subject was, like religious studies or philosophy, and he said no thanks.
No thanks. No studying for me.
That's a good kid. That's right.
Do you study?
All right, I have to sign off, gentlemen.
Well, no, but that we should have more kids on.
We should.
That's great.
Kids say the darndest things.
They do say things.
That Arc Link letter. That was probably when they started getting more urban shows.
Yeah, that was the straw.
The
straw that started the purge.
No, he was way before that.
Yeah.
He was way before that. All right. Well, thanks, Rob.
Rob, thanks for taking time to come on the show.
No, it was my pleasure. It was great talking to you both.
Even though you're really busy.
Well,
You're busy writing
we're all
books
we're
and
all
having
busy.
children.
We're all busy. So.
Well, it's all relative. We're busy drinking. All right. I did see the future, and I'm going to be on a boat with a big beard, and I'm just going to, Rob, I was thinking of Rob.
Right?
All right. Anyway, good night, Rob.
Everybody,
Good night.
thank you.
And thank you, John.
Thank you, Phil. We'll see you in the editing room.
Click.
Written by Rob.
When I was young, I used to roar. I took a job at the Safeway store. They were union, then paid a little bit more, and sold scotch by beer. Summertime in the parking lot, like high school punks, we bragged and fought. Now I think of what life might have brought, and I choke back tears. I started as a courtesy clerk, and I moved up to produce work. Not fancy, but I wasn't no sort of jerk. And lay scotch by beer. We bought a house on St. Pat's Street, and 3 kids running in our back seat. On Sunday I put up my feet with a scotch by beer. My wife said, Bobby, money's tight. Well, I saw the card, didn't want no fight. I said, fill her up with the black and white. It's scotch by dear. My friend said, Bobby, you've got no taste, and your life is stuck in the same old place. But I say ain't no disgrace to drink Scotch by beer. I'm a union man till Judgment Day, but things just didn't go our way. Now a team left my job for half the pay, and no Scotch by beer. Well, my life hell was almost run. I logged my time, I had some fun, but I wouldn't mind one more day in the sun, drinking Scotch by